So this is going to be more the strength and conditioning perspective on mental performance and then as well physical performance. So Austin, if you want to give yourself an introduction, that'd be awesome.
Hey, Corson. What's going on, buddy? So yeah, my name is Austin White. I'm the Director of Strength and Conditioning here at Method Hockey. We train, pretty much kids as young as 7 to kids playing in the juniors. So we see a wide variety of kids, all different ages, all different sports, all different backgrounds. So I've been with Method since they first opened in 2019. Been working with kids, like I said, all different ages, backgrounds, sports. So it's a wild ride, and it's pretty fun. So it's not like it's definitely not like work. I definitely enjoy it. So
that's great. Cool. Well, to start off, what in terms of kind of just strength and conditioning as a whole, what should young athletes and athletes know about this area? Because I think it's one of those things where it's very easy to just think this is an area where, okay, you're just going to go and then your job is to help me put on muscle. That's the most common thing that I used to think of with strength and conditioning. So if you just want to give like a brief introduction to that.
Yeah. So I feel like now, in this century that we're in now, strength and conditioning is definitely pulling towards a better area. Back in even early 90s and the early 2000s, right? It was always about just getting guys as strong as we possibly can. Strength is king, strength is king. That's all that matters. When in reality, there's so many more factors that goes into creating an athlete that's, not just strong, right? We got to get them powerful. We have to get them fast. We have to make sure that they're mobile. They can change direction. It's not always just about, hey, who can squat the house, who can deadlift like a hippo, right? Like, it doesn't even matter. Does strength matter? Yes. But there's different areas that need to be looked at a little bit more. And where the field is going is where it should have been. I've now more than ever, speed is becoming so much more prevalent. Like I said before, it was always about, what your 1 rep max was. When reality, it doesn't matter, right? Like, it doesn't matter if you bench press or do dumbbell bench. Like, if you watch a hockey game, that guy right there does dumbbell bench. That guy right there does barbell bench. Like, no one knows, right? So doing things that allows the athlete to feel good, to look good, allows them to, express what they have to express on the ice or the field, right? That's all that really does matter.
Yeah, I totally get that. And in terms of kind of the psychological side of training, what do you find is kind of the important part to understand for really any athlete?
So the psychological side of it, that's part of the coactives right there. So there's psychological, technical, tactical, and then the physical capabilities. So, working with young kids that I work with now, bullying is so prevalent now more than ever. It's absolutely awful. Confidence is what I want to give these kids, no matter if they're 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all the way up to juniors, right? So confidence is number 1. Number 2, like the psychological side, right? We want to create these long-lasting relationships, right? Having these kids develop these relationships with coaches, with staff, with peers, teammates is so vital in their early development stages. Along with that, right, it helps kids feel safe, helps kids feel like they're a part of something greater than them, gives them a sense of purpose and belonging, right? So the whole point of, sure, strength and conditioning is, sets, reps, weight, but look, it's more than that. It's developing relationships with these kids. It's allowing kids to develop relationships with others. And a real life story. So, I stuttered my entire life, right? So since I was 6, hated talking, didn't want to talk to a single person, was afraid to talk. What strength training and playing organized sports gave me was the confidence that I needed to feel that I was accepted, right? So my teammates did not care that I stuttered. I thought they really did, but really, did they really? No, right? But it allowed me to feel accepted. It gave me the confidence to be myself. And I feel like that's why I'm a really good coach right now, is because, I connect with so many athletes on so many different levels, right? It's not always about, like I said, reps, sets, weight, sprints, right? It's about connecting and the psychological side of it.
Right. That's awesome. And so transitioning more into the specifics of actual strength training. So what is it like about strength training that is so important for players to learn? And what's important about I guess the tactical side, like what we should understand as players? Because obviously you can just look up like brief videos and kind of get a rough understanding, but like what should we be thinking? How should we think of strength training as part of our overall performance game?
Yeah, it's just like anything else. Like, you feel good, you're probably going to be good, right? So if you feel good, that's going to carry over so much. If you feel strong, if you feel fast, if you feel more explosive, you're going to be more inclined to do certain things in games that you may not usually do, right? So if I'm feeling fast, I'm going to try to outbeat this guy, right? If I'm feeling powerful, I may try something a little bit different, right? So, but if I'm feeling slow, if I'm feeling hurt, if I'm feeling, something negative, I'm going to think twice about putting myself in certain situations that I may have to, but I don't want to, like getting in the dirty areas, right? Like, that's a big part of it, right? But if you're not feeling up to the challenge and feeling good about yourself being into that game, you may think twice about it, right? So just like the psychological side of it, right? So if you feel good, if you feel strong, you feel powerful, you feel fast, that's my job to, make these kids those qualities, but also tell them that, hey, Sam, you are fast, you are strong, right? Like, this is going to be your game that you're going to score 3 points, right? And he may not. But if the coach is telling him that, his strength coach, he's going to feel great. And that's half of the job that we really do. We want to make these kids, no matter what age, feel a part of something better than them, and, make them feel great.
Right. That's awesome. And so say a player doesn't have a chance to actually go to a strength and conditioning coach, and they don't have access to that, because I know that is a pretty common thing. For me, I didn't really have a like legitimate coach that I went to consistently throughout my whole career. But what can someone do to kind of try to simulate that, or what can they do to learn more and kind of add this part to their game?
I would try to find one. I know it may not be the answer you want to hear, but find a coach, find a credited place that has great coaches, number one, great athletes who are currently there, and a positive environment that works for you, right? 2 different places may have 2 different outcomes. So you may like to go to this one spot, this one coach, great reviews, people love it, but you may not like it for some odd reason, right? So just get out there, see what type of coaches you like, see what type of athletes are coming out of there. But say you live in rural Indiana where there's nothing around you, you're just lakes, waters, stones. That's your workout there. If you find a hill, start sprinting on it. You want to pick some stones up and squat them, right? So just get out there, do something. Something is better than nothing. start to sprint more, right? Start to jump more, do body weight workouts. You know, anything is better than nothing. You could always sort of reach out to myself. I could definitely help. But yeah, if you don't have anything, just do something. And your sport, the sport that you're playing is going to be the best physical workout that you can get, right? So play your sport, play it often, play multiple sports, right? That's going to help you playing multiple sports is going to help you in so many different ways. It's going to help build different qualities. See, I told you, stutter. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Qualities. So yeah, just get out there and be you.
Yeah, I totally get that. And one point you said that really stood out to me was the reaching out to coaches and actually looking to, even if it's not work with them like one-on-one, but like being willing to actually reach out and say, hey, like, would you be able to help at all here? Because I think that more coaches are willing to do that than maybe we realize as players. Would you
Yeah, I
agree
mean,
with that?
yeah, the more coaches, the more voices. You know, there's so many different coaches out there with different experiences, different coaches who were taught by other different coaches, right? So, you know, the way I coach may not be the way another coach coaches or another coach coaches, right? So, you know, being a athlete, right? Try to get a lot of different areas. Try to reach out to different coaches that you want to kind of work with. You know, like I said, not every coach is exactly the same. Some may feel inclined to do things a little bit differently than you do, and that's okay, right? That's what makes humans humans, and that's what makes everyone different, right? I may like Olympic lifting, but Coach B absolutely hates it. That's okay. We're all different. So,
Got it.
as long as we have the athlete's heart as number one, that's all that matters, right? As long as we have their personal well-being as number one, it's all that really matters.
Right. Yeah, I totally got that. And I think building off that, in terms of injury prevention, that's something I've dealt with surgeries. I've had a lot of different injuries in the past. And I wanted to hear your take on just injury prevention as a whole and what you think is the key that players should be looking at to try to deal with that area.
Yeah. So are injuries preventable? No. Probably don't want to hear me say that, but no injury is preventable. You play a sport that requires you to skate extremely fast, stop on a dime, cut, decelerate, reaccelerate, all while trying not to get your head smashed in. Injuries are unpreventable. As the game becomes quicker, right? As the drills become more reactive, as the game situation heightens, that's when the chance of injury starts to go up. You know, if it's a faster game speed, more reactability, you know, all that is going to go up. Now, what's the best way to prevent an injury? Don't play the sport. But you're all here right now because you all play sports. So what can we do as professionals to really help you? All right. So what we can do is build foundational strength joint by joint. Okay. We want to build armor. We want to be able to create robustness and resiliency, right? And as strength coaches, right, we're pretty much stress mitigators. We are stress managers, right? So we need to understand what the game demands and what the position demands, right? So we pretty much want to reverse engineer the demands of what the game is, what the position is. From then, we can actually look at, okay, what's the most common injury sites followed with that certain sport? So many things that we see for hockey right now. I mean, it's labrum, it's adductor, it's another one, rotator cuff, right? So a lot of upper body and lower body, right? So are those preventable during a hard season where you're playing 3-4 games a week? No, but it's our job as professionals to help build that armor, to help build that robustness, right? So we want to help, create these strong areas joint by joint to make sure these athletes can play 2-3 games a week for 20 weeks. This was our longest season yet. Longest season. These kids came to me the first day off season. They looked like they were dead. So, right. So we're just trying to be stress managers, stress mitigators, really trying to just develop robustness and make sure these kids, are able to last an entire season.
Right. And with kind of training and preparation, I think that one area especially that I struggled with was understanding what overtraining is and understanding that there is a point at which you're pushing your body too far, and that can tie into the idea of injuries. And I just wanted to hear your take on how to, like, when to identify this has occurred and you're starting to kind of hit that point where you're pushing your body too much, and what can you do to start to deal with that?
So what I've found overtraining, right? Maybe not overtraining, but dealing with total stress on the body throughout the season, right? So we're midway through, our teams have a lift at 6:00, right? They walk in, they're just slumping, not talking, laying on the foam rollers. But 4 weeks ago, they were smashing each other with like the foam rollers, talking over the music, right? So as coaches, I know without doing any test how they are that day.
Right.
We don't need to do a jump test. We don't need to do a hand grip test to test their CNS. Just be a good coach. Watch how they walk up the steps, right? So like I said before, what strength coaches are, we're stress mitigators, right? So we're stress managers. I am in constant communication with the head coach all the time. I know what he's doing that week and that month. I want to make sure my plan that I'm doing in the gym matches with what he's going to be doing or what she is, right? So if we're doing sprints that day and the coach is like, hey, we're doing bag skate. Okay, well, you know what I'm not going to be doing that day? I'm not going to sprint them, right? So every coach and strength coaches has to be 1A and 1B, like always constant talking, communicating, because we want to make sure that we're managing that total stress on that body and making sure these kids can perform at their highest capabilities when it is game time, right? So, constant communication, trying to just get the most out of these guys every single day. So,
Right. Yeah, I totally got that. And that it's interesting because Sharon said kind of a very similar thing, which is it's this kind of more communication. It's more of just that you're having a conversation with all these people as opposed to just kind of drawing kind of like, here's the plan for the year and we're just going to follow it. Because I know most of the injuries I've ran into, especially in the off season from overtraining or pushing too much, have been from trying to stay strict and not treating things as, okay, well, if I'm struggling and my energy levels are extremely low, I need to actually be aware of that and be paying attention to how my body's feeling. So I definitely have been through making that mistake.
Yeah. I mean, say you only have $100 like a day, right? If my lift is going to take $50. You broke up with your girlfriend, that's another $50. That's a lot of stress. Your parents are bickering, they're not getting along, that's another $50. Say the coach puts you through hell, that's another $50, right? So like there's so many, like I said, we need to make sure that we are in full cohesiveness every single day. We only see these athletes 1 or 2 hours like a day, right? So we don't know what's going on the other 22 hours, right? So we want to make sure that our program, it's not set in stone. You have to be very agile, being able to, like I said, if you were planning on squatting heavy that day, like 85, 88%, and they come up and like, hey, coach, we can't even move. Well, hey, I guess we're not going to be doing that then, right? So you can't be tied to what you have set. You have to always be agile, always taking in communication from others. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's great. Well, I really appreciate it, Austin. That definitely highlights some of the mistakes I've made as a player, and hopefully players can kind of take that wisdom and apply it to their training.
Awesome.
Thank you.